Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So we're going to go ahead and start another, hopefully 200 episodes of SNS. What do you think? This is going to be 201, and as always, I always tell you there's a good mix of content this week. So I got all kind of different things to share with you this week that I've been working on. Just all kind of little things. So it'll be a mix up and a toss up like it usually is. And honestly, I've said this before. This is the format that I really like the most because it allows me to be a little bit more creative and throw a lot of different things in there instead of just one dedicated little project or machining job that I'm working on. So got all kinds of stuff that we're going to share with you. And I want to go back to last week's episode and mention that, you know what, just thank you everybody for all of your support, man. I talked about my goals last week and I was just overwhelmed with the support from everybody. Especially with the weight loss goals that I have. I told you guys that I am serious about that. I am working on that. And I'm even got guidance through a doctor. You know, I go to a doctor every month now. And I said I lost 10 pounds. So I'll give you guys updates how that goes on, you know, every month on, you know, if I've lost some weight. I have lost 3 inches around my waist, I'll say that. 10 pounds and 3 inches. So it seems like the you know, they measure you at your largest, you know, where the belly is. So, but I've lost 3 inches around that, which is really good. But I can't really say that I feel it all that much yet. But we're working on it. And the main thing I'm doing is my diet right now. You know, it's not really a diet. It's just changing the way that I eat smaller portions, and I'm cutting out a lot of things like sugars and a lot of carbohydrates and stuff like that. Try to eat more protein. And then, I mean, this is what my meal consists of usually every day. I don't really talk about what I eat. For lunch, I have a turkey sandwich on wheat bread and a salad, one of those pre-packed salads, and an apple or an orange. For dinner, I'll have a chicken breast with steamed vegetables. Okay, that's kind of like mostly what I eat. You know, I veer off here and there and have something else, but that's kind of where I'm at right now is meals like that. Every now and then I'll have a snack, you know, some popcorn or whatever. And then of course the barbecue whenever I get to do the barbecue, but that's not that often, you know. So anyway, I'm working on my meals and my portions and the type of foods that I'm eating, and it is making a difference, and I'm going to continue to, and hopefully start getting even more exercise in. That's one reason why I enjoy whenever Abby and I get to go out on the weekends, like we did this past weekend. We went down to the beach. It gets us out of the house and we get to walk around, and I enjoy that, you know. So it's extra exercise there, and I always have my phone on me so it keeps up with the steps and how far you've walked and how many calories you burned. So anyway, I just wanted to thank you guys for all the support, and I'll keep you informed on the progress as we move forward with this and to a more healthy me, okay? I've been working on the shaper a little bit here and there, and I've got plenty of more things that I'm doing. I've got some stuff on order. I'll talk about that in the video here. We'll go down there and look at what we've done. But I do have some projects lined up for it, couple things that we need to do. So I've got some more dedicated videos coming to for the shaper anyway, and I've got more projects around the shop that I want to try to get to. It seems to be a little bit of a slow process, but I've got a lot of things, a lot of organization things that I'm trying to do, trying to get the shop organized and get things moved. And then, you know, so it's like you move one thing, but you got to move another thing to get that thing there. So like that material that's in the back right there, I'd like to move that over to the side, but I really don't want to take up the space over there because I already have it allocated for other things. So that's kind of stuff that I've been dealing with the past few weeks here, is just trying to get the shop organized, and it's going to be a continuing process throughout the week. And as I do a little bit here and there, I'll take the video camera and share with you what I've been doing. So last week in my goals, I also mentioned learning the CAD and CAM and CNC work, And there again, you know, I got a lot of support from that. I was very pleased at reading all the comments from everybody out there, you know, and you know, giving me their support. So one of the things that's been on my mind is possibly get a 3D printer to start somewhere. I think that might be a good baseline to start with, and I had a lot of guys suggest that as well, is to get a 3D printer that I can put right here on the workbench right here and be able to play with that in my off time and on the weekends and just start, you know, have some kind of foundation to start from. So that's something that I've been thinking about, and I'll keep you guys informed if we do that and get a printer in here and you know, my learning process of going through and learning how to print something out. So we got a couple tools to talk about. We're going to go ahead and get to that and go down here to the shaper and see what's been happening there. And I'm looking forward to next week pulling together some more content for you and sharing. And again, thank you guys for all the support. Don't forget to hit the like button. All right, it doesn't cost you anything to do that. Hit the like button. Leave me a comment if you like what you see. And I look forward to continue these videos and sharing with you the work that I get into each week. So last night I watched Steve Summers' new video. By the way, Steve Summers, he's sort of a newer up-and-coming YouTube channel. Really great guy up in Kentucky, I believe. Got a card up there. Check his channel out. He's got a really cool Cincinnati shaper and a clawsing lathe, older lathe like looks like Keith Fenner's lathe. So in his new video, he showed a new tool post just like this that was given to him by a viewer gift, and he's going to be using this on his clawsing lathe because he's still using the 4-way tool post. And the set that he was given, I believe, only had like 2 holders with it. Okay, so this is the same exact tool holder that was given to me by my viewer named Claude Moorhead. He had come down back around Thanksgiving and visited me and had several items like this that he had given to me because they were tossing them out at his work. And you know, it wasn't stuff that he could sell, so he wanted to give it to somebody that could put it to use. So this is the first group of items that Claude has given to me that I am going to re-give to somebody else that can use it. Okay, so Claude, I know that you're watching. I want you to know that these are going to go to a good home. Steve, I contacted Steve this morning and asked him what size the tool post was that he had, and we measured it up, and this seems to be the same exact size. So I don't know what size this is. This is a style tool post holder that I really know nothing about. I believe it's called a Dixon. It's similar to an Allure style, but it is different, just the way that everything. I believe it's a piston. It's a cam actuated piston setup here. Okay, and it pulls it in. It looks like a very rigid setup, so this drops down like so, and then you have a wrench, and I don't have the wrench for this, by the way, and you turn that and it sucks it into the tool post there by cam action. All right, so just a little bit different than the Allure style, but there is a total of 4 tool holders here. One tool holder has got the V-notch for boring bars, and then this guy right here takes a number 2 Morse taper. So it looks like it has 2 set screws that drives the tang, and then you have a jacking screw on the back side to pop the drill out of there. And they're just really dirty. They look like they've been sitting on a shelf for many years. Stuff like this, that's what happens to them. They get put on a shelf and not used because people want other style of tools. So I'm going to take these to work tomorrow and put them in our acid vat and get them nice and clean. I've got some other parts here that I'm going to clean as well. I'm going to show you those. But anyway, I'm going to send these up there to Steve, so I think Steve can put them to good use. Now he'll have several tool holders in addition to ones that he has now for all of his different tooling for his lathe there. So I showed these whenever I was moving the K&T or getting it up on the pipes anyway. These are the leveling pads that come with the K&T, and I wanted to show these, and you can see just how nasty they are. Just years and years of oil and grime accumulated on these things. So I'm taking these to work, and I'm going to put them in our cleaner. I'll wash them off, and then we'll put them in our acid vat and hopefully get them good and clean. So I wanted to just kind of show how these work. It's a two-piece system. So you have a base. This would be the base right here that sits on, this is going to sit on the floor. And then you have this guy right here, and you have a radius inside, and this is a matched radius and a screw. And let me see. Let me make sure that I did that right. Actually, I told you wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. So this part sits on the floor right here. That's going to sit on the floor. And now you see why I wear these orange gloves all the time. I deal with this all day long. This is going to fit up in here just like this. Very easy. All right. So it self levels. And then you can turn this screw in or out to raise it or lower it, just like an adjustable parallel. It works the same way. All right. And they're all equally nasty and dirty. So I'm going to be taking them all to work and soaking them and getting them good and clean. So that's a good time that to do that tool post for Steve at the same time. I'm going to just put everything in a basket and drop it down in the acid vat. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and load up the tool holders and the leveling pads there into this basket, and I'm gonna drop it down in the acid vat. I keep calling it an acid vat, and it's not an acid vat, it's a caustic vat. And this is our cleaning tank here at work that we use for, you know, a lot of our parts, you know, gearboxes and everything. The parts go into here. Raise this lid up some. It has a caustic solution in here. And it's got heaters. That's what the steam is. It's heated and aerated with air. So I'm going to drop that basket down in there and let it sit for the day and clean everything up. Cooking nicely. So I'll come back at the end of the day and pull them out and see if they're good and clean. Here's all the parts after soaking for a day or overnight in the caustic vat. There's still a little bit of grime left on these right here, but it's pretty well got them all clean. Still nice and toasty too. Feels good because it's cold today. It's in the 20s this morning. I'll need to do some bead blasting on these parts and get them cleaned up. And there's the tool holders, and these look pretty good. So that's still the caustic vat that you see on there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over to our regular little parts washer and actually wash these things down with some parts cleaner. And that'll help put a little bit of a protective film on them there, but a lot cleaner than what they were. Boy, that one's hot. All right. All right, I got the tool post cleaned up, washed off, and it looks good. I think Steve's gonna like this. Very little, if any, cleaning left to do on it, unless he just wants to polish them on up. That is the bare metal. These things look like they have not ever been used. That's what it appears like to me. They all look like they're new. This one might have a broken bolt. As you see, the other one's the square head sticking out. That one doesn't. So that's something that he'll have to check out and see what's up with that. But they're all clean. And look at this guy. This is that number 2 Morse taper. You got 2 set screws. No, that's roll pins. Drives the tang, and then you got a jack bolt on that side there to pop the drill out. And the tool post itself. Maybe a little polishing if he wants to brighten it up, make it look real shiny. Alright, I want to show off a few new tools that I picked up here recently. Some stuff that I have bought. And I mentioned my buddy Jack Hoying before. He's got a website where he sells machinist tools. He picks stuff up, and I believe he collects those tools that he wants and then resells them. And I believe that's kind of what drives the hobby part of it anyway. So I got a few things I'm going to show you real quick. This is a very, very nice set of dual gauge blocks that I bought from him. Kind of old. These are from 1984, grade A+. Still got the original envelope with info in there. Don't look like it's ever been opened up. And then I put this paper in there. Very nice set of gauge blocks. I believe there was only, yeah, there's a few here in the very beginning that are missing out of the set. But other than that, a fully complete set. There is a little bit of staining on the tops of the blocks here. You can see, and he says that was from the, you can see the paper was laying in there like that, and whoever owned this originally should have put something like this in there to help protect that. But it's still in good shape. It's a very good set of gauge blocks. Some of these things are just absolutely gorgeous. So very happy to have this really nice quality set of gauge blocks right here. Also in the deal, I asked him if he had any good metric scales, and he said he had this guy right here, a 500 millimeter rule. This is a Starrett, and it's in really good shape. So I picked this up from him also. Be a nice one to have. This is the biggest metric scale that I got around here. And then in the deal, this was sort of like a little extra that he tossed in there. This is a 4-inch long Pratt & Whitney block right here. So the 2 other items that I had bought from Jack, I got this beautiful 12-inch Machinist Square. This is a Starrett number 20. Really good condition. So this is, I don't have this size, that's why I picked this up. And I got one more. We got this beautiful Machinist Square also. And this is an 18-inch Brown & Sharp. Brown & Sharp number 540. In really, really good shape. Now this is the biggest Machinist Square I have now. Not quite compared to the one that Keith Rucker has, but we're working on it. We'll find one day. There's actually a lot of times, honestly, even with the work that I do, where something like this is very, very handy and useful. A lot of times I'm at work at my day job down at Motion. I'm on the bore mill or the milling machine, and I'm setting things up and stuff like this. I'm usually just having to use a normal combination square and a rule to put up against the chuck or the ways and square something off. And same thing on the mill table. Sometimes you want to square something on the vise, and having a big Machinist Square like this comes in handy. So I got them for a really good price from Jack. He usually cuts good deals if you buy multiple items from him, and all his prices on the website include the shipping. So I've got the link in the video description down below. Go check that out and pick up some good quality tools from Jack. There's another shaft I'm about to start on. It's another one of the Allweiler pump shafts. This is my sample here. And what happens a lot of times on these shafts is the bearing spins here, galls, and you have bad seal fits, and then they'll get bent. So we usually build a new one. I got another one that's coming in, or we have another one coming in that's got to be rebuilt quickly. So we're going to go ahead and get another one made. There's the fresh piece of 3-inch 4140 set up. Got one end faced, centered, steady rest indicated. Getting ready to start turning. So I have a couple of updates to fill you in on some stuff that I've been tinkering around in the shop here the past week or so. We'll start with the G&E shaper here. So one of the wrenches that the guys could not find for the machine was the square handled wrench that fits all of these squares, including this guy right here, which is your stroke adjust. That's what this does. We'll talk about that in a minute. And it also, those crank handles are used here as well. These screws right here are to tilt the table, both this guy and the whole table itself. So you can do compound angles on this machine, being a universal table on it. So anyway, the crank handle was missing. They did look for it. They could not find it. As well as the cam plate that bolts right here. That's what this bar is for, and that's what these tapped holes are. There's a cam plate that bolts wherever you need to here, and as the ram goes back, it kicks this guy up for your automatic down feed for the tool head. That cam plate is missing, but we're working on that. I have a viewer that's seen my post on YouTube there and has been working with me on modeling one up. He actually found some dimensions for one on Practical Machinist. So we're working on that, and that is going to be another video coming up pretty soon. We're going to have a little bit of collaboration going on with that as well. So back to the crank handle. What I would like to do is actually build a crank handle, maybe a couple different versions of that for SNS here, for the channel, whatever. But to get me by, what I did is I bought me two brand new 9/16 8-point sockets. These are impact sockets, 1/2-inch drive. These are Proto, so they're good quality sockets, but I bought these through work down at Motion. I got the deep well and the shallow socket there because I wasn't sure which one I would need to get the job done, and I can just use this or any 1/2 inch ratchet or pull handle, whatever, you know, to use those. So this will get me by. All right, and it actually fits really good. The problem is they're not, I wish they would go deeper than they do, but that's all they do. So it will go on these squares, these 9/16 squares, and it will work. All right, fits that one there, and then we got one more right here. So we're going to use this as a crank handle for now, the socket and the 1/2 inch drive ratchet there. So this is your stroke adjust on the machine, and of course it's going to be, well, there it is on the side. All right, there's your needle mark right there. There's your line, and I played around with it, so I've got it set at 12-inch stroke right there. Let me get it set up here. All right, see it moving? So now it's about 10 inches of stroke right there. If you look at the number 10 and lined up on that line. And of course you can go the other way. So that's how you adjust your stroke on this machine right here. So I couldn't do it until I had something to adjust that with. And you know, I had somebody suggest, like, why don't you just make something? And there was a couple of good ideas. Even Tom gave me the idea, Tom Lipton, of just taking 2 pieces of round stock and milling a 90-degree edge in there and then welding them together. But you know, these sockets are cheap enough and it'll work right there. See, ain't nothing to it. So what I wanted to do was buy a 9/16 square broach, a push broach. I found one for sale on Practical Machinist. I got it bought. I'm waiting for it to show up. I think the freeze from last week got the mail all screwed up because it still hasn't showed up yet. So that's going to be a video that I want to do here in the near future, is actually using the 9/16 square broach to make a crank handle. And one handle that we're going to use, let's go over here. I'll show you this guy right here. So this will handle, I've got 2 of these. They were, you know, they were from my old shop, from my dad's era around the shop, and I don't know what they were for. I just know I found them a long time ago and I've been holding on to them. So these are the kind that you can just, you know, machine them yourself to fit whatever. So whenever that square broach comes, I'm going to take one of these. So I'll take this guy right here and we'll drill it and broach it to make a crank handle out of one of these right here. All right, and I think that'll work. I think that crank handle will work right there, but I really want one that kind of sticks out a little bit further. If you see, like, once that's going on there, it's getting really, really close to that lever right there. Same thing over here. Now this is just like a bolt right there that loosens up the tool head so you can pivot it. So that's an idea right there. We're gonna turn this into a crank handle. And then what we might do is go ahead and build one. We might build one from scratch also. We'll actually just fabricate one. Now I have been going into the oiling system. I've been into the cover here. I don't want to show you yet because I'm not ready. I'm still trying to get everything in order. I've got oil ordered for this, and I'm working on a pump so that I can pump the oil out of it. But we're going to wait until I get all that to make a video on that. It is low on oil, so I don't want to run it anymore until I can get to it. So it should be real soon, and we'll get in there. That way, you know, you guys can see how everything is looking inside and how it all operates. And we're going to pump it out, flush it, clean out the sump down in there, and put fresh oil in there. Found out what kind of oil it needs to have, and, you know, to today's oil equivalents. So we're going to make a whole separate video on that right there. This is the tool holder that came with the shaper, and this is an Armstrong number 42. It is a pretty big holder, and this fits the tool post very, very nicely. All right, it's not too narrow, doesn't wiggle around in there. I do have the wrench for this also. I was thinking that I had more of the boring bar holders, but this is really all I got. This guy right here, I believe this is an Armstrong also. It is. This is a number 49, but you can see it's much smaller. The shank size is a little more narrow, which will work. You can make a spacer block to kind of go in there too. I found this guy in the cabinet as well. Now I can probably use it. I'll have to machine it because it's a little bit too wide. It's just a little bit wider than that one, but I believe we can machine that and make that guy work. So this is the kind of holder that you use to do, you put a boring bar in there and you can go inside, do some internal shaping. So what I'm getting at right here is, if any of you guys watching has any of these boring bar holders like this, the big ones that'll fit this machine, I'd be interested in buying some and get a couple more for this machine right here. This one's just missing the screw, the bolt that goes in there. I suppose we could probably fix that, you know, and make that work. But you guys let me know if you have any of these that you'd like to sell to go to the machine here. So this is the last update. I just hung a light up there above the Victor lathe. That's an 8-foot fixture, but it holds 4 of the 4-foot lamps. It's the same exact light that I put out there in the, you know, in the new edition. It's just an 8-foot housing. So now we finally have adequate lighting back here in this corner. The Kelvin is just a little bit different than these that Ernie helped me put up here, but I'm not worried about it. I think it looks good, and I'm happy with it. But now we've got some good lighting back here on the machine. It's going to be well lit up. I do plan on putting some more up. I wanted to buy more than one, but that's all they had in stock when I went there that day, was just the one. So I plan on getting some more. We'll come back down here in a sec to finish what I was talking about, but I definitely want to put at least one more. We're going to put one right here so that we have some better lighting over the shaper, and I want to run some more down this side right here. I want some more over the mill, and I want at least 2 of them over the workbench right here. And then later I want to add some more on this side as well. So while I was down there, I went ahead and picked up this roll of MC cable, and this is what I can use to wire in the machines. I just went ahead and got a whole roll of it, which was expensive, but now I've actually got some wiring that I can use for wiring up these machines. So I need to wire up the K&T. I got to wire up the Victor lathe, and I also need to wire in the electric press out there. So, and then I'll have extra left over for later on, so I'll always have enough of this around here probably for what I'm going to do anyway. And while we're talking about electrical, I was going to show you this guy. My buddy Stan Zukoski out there at Barzy Industrial, he sent me this little sniffer, and it's pretty cool. He told me that I need to stop using my brother as a voltage detector. So you can turn this guy on and it'll detect if it's got some energy in there. Okay, so that's going to be pretty cool to have around there. Just a simple little deal that we can use to check our electrical whenever we're over here working. So Stan, thank you very much for that. That's a cool gift, and it's one of those things that I'm not into the electrical side of the trade, so you know it's all very foreign to me, and I'm learning as I go. So this is a very nice tool. Thank you very much, Stan. Okay, one more quick update on the shaper after the last segment that I just filmed. I went ahead and got the bottom of the shaper cleaned. It's nearly all clean now. I've still got a little bit in the very back, like underneath the motor. I just haven't got that yet. I'm gonna have to lay down on my back, but we got the bottom, and you see that little tray that's cast into the base there that holds the oil. Down here, same, we got it all cleaned off. Got it all clean, wiped down real good. I got a little bit more detailed work to do right back here, but the majority of the machine now is good and clean. So now I want to start working on some of the bare metal surfaces. I want to make all the bare metal really look good on this machine. I've got a couple of wheels that I had ordered from Wheeler. They're like nylon brushes that go on a grinder, both a side grinder and an air grinder, and they're the most minimum abrasive wheels that they make. They're not supposed to remove any base metal at all, but they're supposed to clean and polish the surface. So I'm going to give it a try, probably start up here on the vise and see what it does and maybe put it to use. So other than that, I'm probably going to be using my hands and Scotch-Brite to try to brighten all this stuff up. But it's really coming along, and I'm really happy with how this is looking.